What's going on, everybody? Here we go. Another episode of Make the Right Play. We're back here in studio. As always, Coach is next to me on my left here, the coach. And we got Yabui Media behind the camera, making everything work for us, making everything look good. Shout out Yabui Media, the best in the biz. What is going on, everybody? How we doing? Another crazy week. Tons of headlines, crazy NFL games this weekend. Just tons of stuff to get to. Coach, what's going on?
Well, I know somebody here is very stressed because they didn't do a lot of great preparation work. And you know what? You got to make the right play. You got to do your prep work because look what happened to Trump this week.
Yeah, you got to do the prep work. It's good to know when you have, what's actually going to be in the show before, an hour before. That's pretty. That helps a lot.
Videos were saved.
That helps a lot. Don't send it at 5:30 when he's in the middle of work, and then it's like, this is the order of the show.
I'll do all 20 tonight when I get home from work.
How about you put it in order and don't decide what the show is and send it to me at 5 o'clock while I'm at work.
Imagine he's doing a couple of clips.
How about that? A couple of clips. We have 18 clips. We have 18 clips here.
Look how disrespectful he is.
We have 18 clips.
He hasn't written one page of work. He has 18 clips.
Because you decide what all the content's going to be. You have all full control of whatever everything's going to be. Because every time I say something that we want to do, it's like nobody wants to talk about that. So you decide what everything's going to be. That's 100% true. 100% true.
What are we starting the show with?
Oh, 2 lines? Let's look at it. Let's look at everything you have written down here. You have 2 bullet points on the NFL on 2 bullet points on Championship Sunday. Two bullet points. Not even about anything about the games, just about the refs decided the Chiefs game. Then you have 1,000 bullet points on the mainstream media losing control. Even though we talk about it every week about how the mainstream media is gone and everybody just talks about podcasts, but you have 1,000 bullet points about that. You have 2 bullet points about the EU, which who even cares about the EU because we're in the United States and everything is about America first. Who even gives a shit about the European Union? Like, you just don't even give me that. Like, just enough.
See, this is what happens when you don't do any prep work. You act like a lunatic right on the show. This is the problem. I didn't get one clip from any of the games, not one. Right?
Because we can't. That's copyrighted material. That's copyrighted material that we don't have. We don't own that copyright. So we cannot clip the copyrighted videos because we will get taken down off the air. It's copyright.
Not even one about somebody complaining about the same thing.
I had that. And we decided we didn't want it.
It was never sent to me.
Because I don't need to send it to you because everything comes from my laptop and my stuff.
Listen,
so why would I need to send it to you?
He's a lunatic right now because he does no prep work at all. None. And now he's yelling and screaming and taking it out on me, his poor mother. This is what I put up with. Just saying. So I guess we won't be talking about those 2 sentences about the football games.
No, we could talk about it. I mean, we could
talk
about it.
It's only 2 sentences, so maybe it's not going to be that good. I don't know.
Well, you don't know anything about it, so because you were on your phone watching TikTok the whole game. So I don't think you really know what to talk about.
I was doing prep work. So, that's what I was doing. I was looking for things that were actually interesting.
Right? Because nobody gives a fuck about the NFL in the United States of America. Nobody cares about that.
Using the F word on the podcast.
That's what it is. Nobody cares about that shit.
I would like you to stop using the F word on the podcast. I find it very unprofessional, and I'm trying to run a professional podcast.
Right, because we're on Newsmax on this show here. Rogan, your boy Joe Rogan never uses the F-bomb on his show, ever.
Well, I have a feeling that Joe Rogan does a lot more prep work than you. Just saying.
I guess so, maybe. Because his whole show is just interviews and watching random YouTube shit. But yes, you're right. That he does tons of prep work before his show. I'm
sure it's more than, 15, 20 minutes before the show. I'm sure about that. So anyway, what are we doing? Are we going to do the 2 minutes of the football game, or are you going to keep throwing a temper tantrum because you don't like being called out?
How about those Chiefs?
Oh, how about those Chiefs?
How about those Chiefs going to the Super Bowl again because the NFL is rigged? Did you see that?
Well, I have to say that people feel that the Chiefs have every call go their way. And they get bailed out by the refs.
Because they do.
Well, there were 3 terrible calls that all went the Chiefs' ways, and the Bills did not seem to be getting the same calls going their way.
That's been that way the whole year. This has been a topic the whole year that that the Chiefs get every call. This isn't just Championship Sunday, but we don't talk about the NFL, so nobody would know that. But this has been a debate the entire year that the Chiefs get every call going their way. But in their defense, they are protecting the face of the league. Patrick Mahomes is the face of the league. So the roughing of the passer penalties and all that stuff, yes, it is soft, but they are protecting their stars. In the NHL, they don't protect their stars. Their stars get shit on all over the place. There's no protection for them. But in this case, in the NFL, they're like, Mahomes is the face of the franchise. People want to watch Mahomes. He needs to stay on the field. He cannot get buried into the turf and get crushed and break his arm or whatever, and then he's out, and then nobody wants to watch. So, yes, they protect their stars in this league. As far as the calls on Sunday go, that was a dropped pass to Xavier Worthy towards the end zone. The ball hit the ground clearly. Tony Romo said it. Jim Nantz, everybody was saying it. Ball clearly hit the ground. Josh Allen got that first down on 4th and goal. He pushed through into he got the first down. I think everybody can agree that he got the first down. It was clear as day that they wanted the Chiefs. I guess that's what it is. Yeah, right there. That's the clip. That's the picture of the freeze frame. He gets the first down. We can't see. We can't see. Yeah, let's just move on. Let's just move on. We're done with the Chiefs. Chiefs, the Eagles. Fuck the Eagles.
Well, all right. Since the Chiefs get every call, this is what I wanted to talk about. Since the Chiefs get every call, are they really high Super Bowl favorites? Like, is there any chance of the Eagles winning that game if the Chiefs get every call?
Yes.
So the Eagles are going to win. You think the Eagles?
No, I think the Chiefs are going to win. I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I hate the Eagles. I think the Eagles suck and they're going to lose.
No self-respecting Giant fan can root for the Eagles. Let's be honest.
I think that the Chiefs are going to win because I think they're the better team overall. I think the offense is better. I think Jalen Hurts is a little overrated, to be honest. I don't think the Eagles are that good. I mean, Barkley's having a career year. Good for him, I guess. He's a piece of shit. But good for him. He is unstoppable running the football. But I mean, I think that the Chiefs are the better team. I think that that Chris Jones and the defense will shut down the Eagle offense, and Mahomes is Mahomes. You hate him or not, he's big game, big time. Whenever he needs to come out and play and make something happen, he comes out and makes something happen. Mm-hmm. He just does. That's just the truth. And, people can hate on him all he wants and say he's ass, but people said the same thing about Brady, and Brady's the greatest of all time. And honestly, I think if Mahomes wins the Super Bowl, he's at 4 rings at the age of 28. He's going to three-peat. He's now entered the GOAT conversation. Now it's like, okay, now you have to respect him. You have to talk about him because he's unbelievable. He's got 4 rings at 28, and he's the first person ever to three-peat.
Despite all the calls going his way.
Despite all the calls. I mean, he's still unbelievable. Watch the highlights. I mean, you could bitch about the calls all you want, but the fact of the matter is he makes things happen when he needs to make things happen. That's the truth. That really is the truth. So people will complain and keep talking about, the calls and not getting enough calls, but I mean, I granted, I 100% agree with everybody when they're talking about Sunday because the Bills got that first down. That was a drop pass by Xavier Worthy towards the end zone. So, there was a lot of questionable calls on Sunday, but I do think that the Chiefs are a really good team. And Patrick Mahomes, I think, is the best quarterback in this league when he needs to be, and it's clear as day. So people could say whatever they want, but I think the Chiefs are going to win that game come Super Sunday.
Well, you know what's interesting? Like being on a podcast, you can pretty much talk about anything. So for the past 5 minutes, you've been talking about the Chiefs with my 2 sentences. But the point is that just like Barstool Sports, independent media is becoming very important in our society now. It's not just CBS, it's not just NBC, it's not just ESPN, and they are wigging out right now. Mm-hmm. So I want to show, yesterday was the first White House press conference, and I can't remember her name. You think I remember her name?
The press secretary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, you see? So the thing is that I'm a party of one writing all these pages. So the press secretary, why don't we show clip 1 of the press secretary talking about how the press corps is going to change now that Trump's in charge.
Now we're changing it all.
This White House believes strongly in the First Amendment. So it's why our team will work diligently to restore the press passes of the 440 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration. We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room. We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House. And you can apply now on our new website, whitehouse.gov/new media. Starting today, this seat in the front of the room, which is usually occupied by the press secretary's staff, will be called the new media seat. My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex. So
All right, that's so exciting.
Listen, I think we need to go get a press secretary pass. I think we should be in there.
Well, that would be great, but I think we need to step up our game a little bit. But Caroline Levitt, Caroline, and you know how I know how to pronounce that name? It's because I have a friend named Caroline. So Caroline Levitt, I thought she did a fantastic job yesterday.
I thought she was great. Yes, I think she does a great job, and she held herself well, as every single Trump's pick has. Pete held himself well. Pam Bondi held herself well, and RFK's holding people too.
When he was the press secretary?
Sean Spicer was great. I don't understand why he ever left, to be honest with you. I still don't understand why he ever left. I thought he did a great job, but I guess he got a little soft, and the media was getting to him at some point. But I mean, I thought he did a great job when he was the press secretary, to be honest with you. Much better than that other lady that he had towards the end.
What was her name? The other lady who you're talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know,
is that a dig? Are you going to dig at me the whole show here?
I'm not trying to dig at you.
No, that was a dig.
I'm just asking you. I'm like
that was a total dig at me right there. Are you going to do this the whole show? Oh, is that what it's going to be? The whole show? Are we going to dig at Carlos the whole time?
The violin for Carlos tonight because
this is
somebody's having
unbelievable.
a pity party right now.
You're coming at me every chance you get. You're coming at me here.
Relax yourself, okay?
You relax.
I relax.
Yes.
If I relax, there would be nothing. We would just be talking about, Mahomes the whole night. That's what we'd be talking about. So anyway, they're trying to convince us that ICE is being mean, These people that we're deporting are all criminals.
They are.
And one thing I have to say is I don't remember people crying when Joe Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey got deported.
That's right. Nobody did.
Right? Nobody cried when Teresa's husband from Real Housewives of New Jersey got deported.
No.
Right? He was doing white-collar crimes. He gets deported.
Yep.
And not one tear shed. And he had 4 daughters.
Yeah.
4 daughters left behind in the United States, not one tear. But we're supposed to cry over all these criminals. Like, what was that girl's name? The real famous
Selena
one?
Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
Yep.
I mean, wasn't that just pathetic?
It was. I mean, but that's what we're going to see constantly. And honestly, I saw a funny tweet that they were like, yeah, I'm glad, the celebrities are crying now. But I mean, come on, guys, the constant, disgust and disgrace about these illegals getting deported. I mean, listen, they're illegal immigrants. It's in the name. It's illegal immigrant. It's like, that's what it is. You illegally cross the border. I'm sick of everybody, if somebody goes and beats somebody on the street, right? If a man goes, the outrage that it would be if a white man went and beat the crap out of some lady on the side of the road, you would want that man in jail, correct? If they just beat somebody off because he broke the law, that's assault. You broke the law. So why do you?
Joe Giudice broke the law. And he
white collar crime.
Deported,
so why do you think if you're an illegal immigrant and you break the law and enter the country illegally that you should not be sent back to where you came from because you broke the law? What makes them so much better than everybody else?
And Teresa actually worked on The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Teresa Giudice worked on The Apprentice, probably could have called Trump and said, can I have a pardon? But
Correct.
They even asked her about it on Watch What Happens Live. And she was like, no, he's the president of the United States. I'm not going to ask him for a pardon for my husband. Mm-hmm. He never got his green card. Like, there are consequences for actions.
Yeah.
But let's see some of the fine citizens who have been deported. Let's go to video 2. Because this, I thought, was hilarious.
I thought this was funny.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston
All right, we can cut it there.
down its next target.
That's where it was supposed to be cut. So I think that's so hilarious that
you see it too, right? So you see it too. It's not just me that like, oh, Carlos, Carlos. It's not just me, right? You fucking see it too, so I'm not crazy, and everybody else will see it. Like, this is fucking ridiculous, man. This is absolutely ridiculous.
And Pull Your Booey, like 2 seconds
this
before the show.
Absolutely
the
ridiculous.
Opening from last week. Does your Booey have the new opening? No, and then your Booey scrambling, trying to do everything. So I have to admit, I thought that was really a crazy guy. How about when he thanked Obama? Biden forever, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, the illegals, I get so frustrated, the defense that they get. It drives me nuts. It really, it's not right. And the people coming at Trump for trying to make sure that the Americans are taken care of first before the illegals is just, it's so frustrating.
Well, let's
Drives
go to
me nuts.
video 3 because this one is an oldie but goodie.
Look at that. Look what they caught in New York. Let's give some context on this video that we've already watched. In New York City, they caught that man who was the leader of this Haitian gang. That's big. That's big news. Another criminal caught. And thank God that they did. Thank God for Trump that they caught this man who led these people into these people's apartments and taking over these apartment buildings.
I thought we were only, So the Tren de, what is it? Tren de Aragua.
Yes.
Tren de Aragua. Wait. Tren de Aragua
Yep.
gang
There you
leader
go. Go with
behind
that.
the takeover of the Aurora apartments was caught in New York City and the Bronx. And let
Yep.
me tell you, the citizens were celebrating,
Yeah.
okay? The Black and Latino citizens who live in the Bronx, who actually have to live with this maniac,
Yep.
were celebrating. And they were like, thank God that they
Yeah.
caught this guy.
Because
Thank
that's
God.
how real Americans feel. They real Americans in the majority of this country are getting excited because they're finally being able to, not feel stressed out and feel, afraid of all these people who you have no idea who they are walking amongst them in the streets. Like people are going to start feeling safe again.
Well, listen, officers from ICE in Maryland
Yep.
arrested a wanted man in El Salvador for homicide,
Yep.
a person convicted of armed robbery, a migrant found guilty of possessing child sexual abuse material. How disgusting is that? Not even
That's-
child porn,
yeah,
child
just
sex. Like, that's disgusting.
terrible.
And another with drug and gun convictions. All were in the country illegally, including an ISIS terrorist. We
Yep,
got to show the
clip four,
picture
clip
of this
four, yep.
ISIS terrorist.
Look at this guy here. There he
Look
is.
at him.
There he is.
An
Found.
ISIS terrorist.
Found him.
So let me ask you this. This guy gets caught.
Yep.
All the other criminals get caught. They're all in poor neighborhoods. But who are the people complaining the most about catching criminals?
Who was that?
The typical white liberal Karen woman
Yep.
who lives in a doorman building, probably in Manhattan's Upper East Side, okay? So I'm watching the CBS News story
Yep.
with JD Vance, and I
Yep,
am
News
just
Nation,
taken,
yep.
right? CBS
Yep,
News
CB,
Nation.
yep.
And I'm completely shocked that the whole newscast is like, JD Vance is the devil,
Yeah.
right? And that these are all innocent victims who are being apprehended in this country. So we have to show this video.
Yeah, all right, let's show clip 5.
That all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
but there are
have been properly
30,000
vetted.
people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary
Do you stand by
concern
it?
as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that
So
we
no.
know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people
it's
are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he
Yeah.
wasn't. I
No.
don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted, and because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No,
Yeah.
and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got
I
here.
love this.
Or
Here it is.
while he
This
was
line
living
right
here.
I don't really
But
care, Margaret. I don't
don't
want that
care.
person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
And we do, JD.
You know what?
We
She
do
might as
agree
well
with
just
you.
say Biden forever.
Yeah.
Right? That's what she should be
Yeah.
saying. Biden forever.
Like-
I mean, she sounds like such an idiot.
Yeah, she does.
She's clearly
100%.
an elite woman
Yep.
who is lecturing JD Vance on how the immigration policy should be,
Yeah.
which is obviously a failure.
Right.
And all she needed to say was Biden forever.
And nobody was a bigger failure at immigration than the Biden administration.
I know.
Nobody was a bigger failure than the Biden administration. They were so bad that they misplaced 300,000 kids.
Exactly.
300,000 kids, 17 and under, kids were misplaced. And thank God, here comes Trump's administration finding between 70 and 80,000 of them in the first 4 days. In the first 4 days, he found between 70 and 80,000 kids of that 300,000 kids that Biden messed up.
Well, she doesn't want to talk about that.
No, of course not.
She's
Why
not
would you
going
want
to
to
bring
talk
up
about
anything
that?
positive. Everything
Why?
has to be a negative attack on this administration.
Yep.
But let's go to clip 6 because this, I like Stephen Miller. He's a badass.
Yep. All right, let's go to clip 6.
Hey, Deborah.
We've seen, as you know, 500,000 children trafficked over a 4-year period into the United States. This administration is going to investigate every instance of child trafficking, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, child smuggling, and all the attendant crimes involved in that. And our message to everyone in the country is to cooperate fully with Immigration and Customs Enforcement so that we can end the scourge of child trafficking and child abuse that has been endemic these last 4 years.
Great line. That's right. Let's go. Get on board. Get on board, everybody. It's time to get on board. Let's go. This is a change in the way we're doing things. Get on board.
And what did they say? They said, listen, you may not be a criminal, but if you're harboring an illegal criminal, guess what? You're going to be culpable too, and you're going to get arrested. So I don't want to hear, oh, I wasn't a criminal, but I got arrested. Well, you were hiding a criminal in your apartment. So guess what? You're guilty too. We're not going to be going like the old Biden forever way, where we're going to have people trafficking children, using children for all kinds of things, and just ignore the problem. That's not going to happen anymore.
No,
this is
right.
2025, baby. We're in a new era. We're in the golden age. We're in the golden age where we protect children.
Amen.
Okay? And you would think the media celebrated for this. Do you know I could only find one story? Let's go to clip 7. One story about the missing children being found.
Now, the second wave that Tom Home and the borders are for Trump has told me about in all of this will focus on those missing children, hundreds of thousands of them that we know. And that number has started to already come down, Emily, from 300,000. So they've found about 75 to 80,000 of those kids already. If they can get the list of these guys, 4 full days in office for Trump, if they can get the list of where some of those kids have been, and they've been identifying it, you know, since the election, going after them and trying to find those little ones, what in the world was Biden's administration doing? What was Secretary of Homeland Mayorkas doing when he said to the committees on Capitol Hill, we don't know where those kids are, I'll look into it? No, dude, you obviously had a better way to find them, and you didn't do your job. I can't believe they impeached him and didn't remove him.
That's a great question.
1 week in office.
Yep.
The inauguration was last week. We just had the inauguration last week. And in 1 week in August, he has found over 7,000 missing, 70,000 missing children. And that should be applauded. That should be like front page news. Like, God bless Donald Trump. God bless his administration. God bless ICE. No. Everything is about the vilification of Donald Trump. And it's not working anymore.
No, it's not working anymore. And of course, they want to keep talking about the BS of oh, you're going after these illegals. You know, you're ripping these families apart. That's what everybody wants to talk about. But let's talk about some of the great things that he's doing. Like, that's what we need to be focusing on.
Well, did you hear what his plan is today?
This was actually interesting. When
this
you sent me. Yeah,
came out today. It's very interesting. Video 8.
All right, let's go right here. Video 8.
Also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens. And these are illegal alien killers, criminals at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
Let me tell you, that's where that kid, that guy in the Haiti video, Second clip. That's where he's going.
Well, are you sure about that?
I bet that's where he's going.
Well, I thought Tom said he's going back to Haiti.
No.
When he said I'm not going back to Haiti, he's like he's going back to Haiti. Well,
Trump's going to be like, move him to Guantanamo.
You know who I think he's talking about? There are a lot of MS-13 gang members and devil worshippers. I'm saying it, they're devil worshippers from like countries like El Salvador and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that those countries now are so much safer because everybody escaped there and came to the United States. So I'm sure the presidents of those countries are talking to Trump and saying, listen, what are we going to do? I really don't want those people back. They're very dangerous. And Trump's like, you know what? Why don't we just stick their ass in Guantanamo? And you know what's going to be the funniest part? The liberals are going to start crying. You have to send them back to their country. You have to send them back to their country. You can't send them to Guantanamo. That's going to be so horrible. Watch. You watch. That's going to be the next thing. They're going to be begging to go back to their country. Half of them are probably going to be heading to their own country right now before they get shipped to Guantanamo. How about that?
Yeah, you're 100% right. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to be self-supporting now because they're going to be terrified
like, no worries.
of being sent to Guantanamo.
I'll head back. That's just going to be like, don't worry about that. I'll take care of it. You don't even need to pay for it. I'll walk.
I mean, the MS-13 is such a dangerous gang. And I mean, honestly, when you do some research on some of these gangs, they are devil worshippers. Like, it's really scary.
Maybe we'll get like a migrant caravan walking back to Mexico. And we'll like film them as they walk down like Kansas and Oklahoma.
Just send me back home, please.
We'll get a migrant caravan going. From New York, you have all of them there. They can caravan back.
Well, I'm telling you, all the cities that said they weren't going to cooperate so far are cooperating.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
right.
really
They
been.
are.
I mean, it's really disturbing because we saw the images where like the people put help. That it was like from Google Space and stuff that people had.
Yeah.
I mean, God only knows what's going on in this subculture where it's lawless. It's like the Wild Wild West.
You don't
inside
know.
our own country.
Yeah, you don't know what's happening to the. I mean, God only knows what's going on with the remaining kids that are still there looking for him.
I know.
Like, you don't even know what's going on there. It's really bad. And thank God that in 4 days, we've already found close to 80,000 of them. I mean, it's night and day compared to what, we had with Biden just, over a month ago. And now, like, it's complete night and day. So thank God, hopefully this continues. Let's not, let off the gas. Let's keep getting these people out of here, finding these missing kids, getting them the care that they need, and let's keep rolling here. Because, I mean, things are moving in the right direction. But, of course, things are moving so good that the media has to try to come up with ways to divide us.
Listen, that's all they do. They specialize in division.
Division. Divide, divide, divide.
So New York Magazine comes out with this cover. And what they did is that they were caught editing all the black people out of the cover of a young conservative bash in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Except there was one problem. The person throwing the party happened to be black. He was a co-host. Yep. So they made it where it looked like there were no black people in the party when actually the person throwing the party was black.
Well,
so we have to show the cover.
So let's start by showing who C.J. Pearson is. So let's go point one, 9.1. And this is who C.J. Pearson is. He's a big-time Republican conservative, but, he specializes in trying to get the conservative message and Trump's message to the black community, saying, hey, guys, the media is lying to you. This is what he actually wants to do for us. This is how he's going to benefit the black community. That's what he goes out and does, right? So he threw this party, for inclusion and the black community supporting Trump.
What he's trying to do is deprogram all the brainwashing that the Department of Education has been doing for the last 30 years.
100%.
All they do is MK Ultra and brainwash people all the time. They do, okay? So now we have this gentleman going out there and being like, don't believe the Democrats. You have to free yourself. Don't believe the propaganda that they're feeding you. Don't be brainwashed, right?
Well, let's show some of the brainwashed material. So let's go 9.2.
Right,
this was the cover.
Look
so
at
this
the cover.
Is what they put
the
out.
Cruel Kids table. They make it look like this is like a party at Yale where like this is what is it?
All the
Skull
white
and Bones.
elitists.
Right. Like this is the white elitist party.
Yep.
And you look at it and you go, wow, holy shit, the Cruel Kids table. MAGA. MAGA, the Cruel Kids table. So now let's look at the real picture.
Yeah, if you expand the picture, let's go 9.3. And so that's the real picture with multiple black people in the background there, right? And then go 9.4 with some of them partying and what it actually looked like at the party.
And that's them actually at the party.
Right.
Right?
So there was tons of black people at this party and tons of people of the ethnicity, like you said, they were trying to end the brainwashing.
Right,
And
the
they
anti-altering.
tried to create these divisive.
Well, the New York
headlines.
Post, they interviewed C.J. Pearson.
Yep.
And he said it took willful ignorance to ignore the diversity that was present at this event, which New York Magazine clearly did by not even reaching out to me. Imagine, he was the co-host of the party.
Yep.
He said they were wrong to crop the photo and insinuate that I was throwing some KKK kumbaya. Okay? He felt really slighted by this.
Yep.
He goes, why? And he's like, because they want to undermine the entire narrative. They want to perpetuate that the MAGA movement is some kind of racially homogenous movement of people.
Yep.
And that's the truth. So the New York Post reached out to him, and it's clearly a misleading photo on the cover of New York Magazine.
100%.
But who buys New York Magazine?
The list.
White liberal Karens who were probably all rich and who all say, MAGA's so scary. They're all a bunch of racists. And that's the problem. They can't have anybody have a different thought because honestly, ladies, you've been brainwashed too. You really have.
The white ladies?
They have been brainwashed too. I mean, let's be honest, half of them are teachers. Honestly, half the liberal
let's not go down the road of the
teachers.
teachers.
No, not all of them. I'm not saying the teachers here in Florida are fantastic, but I know in Connecticut,
Really?
God forbid you had a different opinion.
Yeah.
You were immediately attacked. Like you could not even have a different opinion. I think they all worship at the altar of the Department of Education, to be honest with you, okay? I don't know what
In
these women are
Connecticut,
doing
yeah,
right
it's
now
very
in
close.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
I mean, they are and the whole state is suffering from it. Their policies are so bad. They even no matter how bad the policies are, they still refuse to see what is right in front of them. They do. They never want to see what's right in front of them. And I mean, honestly, you had a classy group of people hanging out, partying, having a great time, and the New York Magazine needed to narrow down the picture because you know why? That's their viewpoint. They have a very narrow viewpoint of the world.
Yeah. You're completely right. 100%.
You know what? They're losing their base.
Yeah.
They're losing their base because there is a great awakening happening in this country.
Yeah.
There is an illumination of consciousness because people are turning to God and not the government for help in this world.
Yeah.
And that is the only way to get rid of the lies.
100%.
Because the devil is a liar, honey. The devil is a liar. So you know what I would love to do? I would love to play that video that I sent you. I know it's out of order. The video at the end that about the guy saying, "Come on, Democrats, you can."
Oh yes.
Yeah,
okay.
it's it's like towards the
I
end.
think
you
that's 16. 16.
Thanks.
Oh, I hear something in my ear.
Someone who used to despise.
Yes, here it is.
That's
This is
it. That's it. Yeah.
I want you to hear this.
This is a good video. This is a great video.
Someone who used to despise Trump as a former Democrat and a gay person. I used to think Trump was like one of the worst people on earth, if not the worst person on earth. But I can assure you that it's in your best interest, if you still hate the guy, to consider that maybe you've been misled. Maybe there's a reason why so many Black, Latino, Asian, gay people support the guy. Why so many former Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard and RFK have moved over to the Trump camp. Maybe he's not this racist, homophobic, right-wing extremist. Maybe he's actually a pretty moderate guy with a unifying, common sense set of beliefs. It feels like a lot of people don't actually want the country to unite because it would involve admitting that they were wrong about Trump. But I can assure you, as a former Democrat, that admitting you were wrong is not going to be this terrible process because the MAGA movement, believe it or not, is very accepting. It's very friendly. They will welcome you with open arms. It's in your best interest to at least consider, because we'll be celebrating. You're welcome to join us, or you're welcome to continue being in a state of negative, existential, crisis-level delusion.
Amen.
Yeah.
When I saw that video,
Yep.
I was like, this guy is really articulate and
Yep.
he's preaching it perfectly because he's the guy who in Connecticut who would have attacked me. I mean, even after the inauguration, I was being attacked.
I know.
About how pathetic and stupid, I'm this, I'm that. And then I, pretended that I was crying and it really hurt my feelings.
You were
because
bringing
I
it,
was
though.
like, these people are so pathetic.
Yeah.
Honestly. And the truth is that I want you to join us because I want our country to be successful.
Right.
And so does Trump. He wants all of us to be rich.
Yeah.
He wants all of us to be successful. That's why he cut that budget, because he doesn't want all the money to go to other countries, like $500 million for condoms in Gaza. He wants the money to stay here so that we can be prosperous.
Right.
So please, try to pray. I know this may be really difficult for some of you because, you don't believe in God. I have to be honest. A lot of you liberals, you don't believe in God. I think you really need to turn to the Father and you need to say, please, just give me a little discernment. Let me see what's going on and open your eyes. It's time to wake up, America. Wake up. And you know who else is so pissed at us? I know that you said that nobody cares, but the EU. The EU is attempting to clamp down on free speech in order to protect democracy. This is the same EU in cahoots with Justin Trudeau, who intends to resign.
Well, the globalist elites.
The total globalist
elites.
So we have to play that video.
All right, so let's go clip 10.
Is that video 10?
Yep, let's go clip 10 here.
Done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician, has risen. Somebody who, 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, dead politically, known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
We need to also factor in not only who's won, which is Trump, but who's lost, which is to say us. And I guess I would throw into that the epitome of the us who is losing here is Europe. That the European Union and by and large its member states have misread the direction where events were going. The causes that it is interested in, climate, human rights, some others, as well as the methods of diplomacy that it prefers, are simply being gradually kind of marginalized as something new, not necessarily something better, but something new moves into the center.
You know what I just noticed for the first time watching that panel?
What was that?
It's Lily White.
Yeah, completely.
It is a completely Lily White. That's Davos Global, but everybody on the panel is Lily White. Yep. That's the ruling class that we keep telling you about.
Right.
Those are the globalists. And they're like, not something better. Yeah, because you won't be in charge anymore.
Right.
That's why you're scared.
Because, you're 100% right. But it goes back to what we were saying. Like, it's the globalist elite. And he even basically said it. He's like, we lost. We lost. We tried to bury this guy. And we thought we buried him using the bullshit COVID, the bullshit election with the mail-in ballots. Like, they were like, we buried this guy. We got rid of him. We're done.
Yeah.
And he was like, fuck that. I'm coming back. I know you don't want me to use the F-bomb, but that's what Trump was saying. He was like, I'm back. We're coming back. And we're running it back. And here we are. And he's won again because he's gotten to the American people. Like he has shown them how full of shit the Democrats are and the globalist elites are and the media is. And he's like, enough is enough, guys. Wake up. And people woke up and they're like, yeah, you're right. Trump, you're 100% right.
But you know why they were able to wake up? Because of Elon Musk and X.
Elon Musk and X,
because during 2020, you had Facebook censoring, you had YouTube censoring, X was censoring, and of course, the mainstream media, Biden Forever crew, they were completely censoring. So people didn't have access to the other information.
Yes.
But now with alternative media, people are starting to wake up. They're seeing the other side of the story.
Yeah.
So the European Union introduced fresh measures this week to limit American speech on social media platforms, claiming the move is needed to protect democracy.
Well, that's the
If
favorite
you believe
line.
that's
That's the favorite line.
I have a bridge to sell you.
Yeah.
So they don't want the truth that's going on here in the
That's the
United States
favorite
to
line.
reach the Europeans. Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
Take a look at that panel, people. Wake up. Take a look at that panel. Why do you think they don't want freedom of speech in Europe? Use your heads.
Because the Europeans are waking up too. I mean, look what's happening in Germany. Look what's happening in France. People are waking up. And I think the Europeans are getting a little nervous.
Ireland.
Because when people start to wake up and they realize how full of shit everything is, guess what's going to go? The European Union. They're going to be like, let's dissolve that shit. It sucks. The European Union has always sucked since its formation. And to this day, the European Union sucks. They all rely on the Germans to pay for everything. And what happens when the Germans run out of money and they get pissed and they're like, I've been paying for everything forever and now I have no money. It's like, you guys are so below me. Now I have to take over all your countries because you guys are so below me. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to say. You have the wrong arm movement.
But that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. They're going to They're gonna be like, I gotta take over you. I have to take your country over because you guys are such a disgrace. That's what's gonna happen. That's where we're going.
Well,
get ready.
You know, they're scared of the Trump effect.
Yes.
They're completely scared of the Trump effect right now. So this other thing, this happens at Davos. So Trump gave a speech, much to their chagrin. They had to have him. He's the leader of the free world.
This was wild.
You know, it was okay. But this one, I said, Carlos, we have to show this clip.
All right.
Let's show clip 11. It was the highlight.
And by the way, speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank, and that included a place called Bank of America. This conservative, they don't take conservative business. And I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives because what you're doing is wrong.
What you're doing is wrong.
Mr. President, I'll say that your friend Gianni said hello, told me to tell you hello, and we look forward to sponsoring the World Cup when it comes both this summer for the club and next year. So thank you for getting that for the United States.
That one guy was dying laughing.
Yeah, I know.
And then they go to Brian Moynihan, and he's like, thank you so much for letting us sponsor the World Cup. I know you just read me a new asshole in front of the whole world, but, you know.
That's exactly what that was.
Thank you for the World Cup.
But we know how liberal the Bank of America is.
Bank of America
we know how lib they are.
Liberal.
Yeah, like it's a completely liberal place. And they were very hard on people who didn't want to get the vaccines.
Absolutely.
Like they were a very lib place. And they're just out in the open now, basically like, yeah, you voted for Trump. You're not banking here. Like, see you later.
Well, Trump ripped him a new one, and he took it like a little, you know what they say. But, I mean, Trump has really been on fire, and I've been having a great time watching
He has
him.
been on fire. But you know what? One of the things that I thought was interesting, which caused a little bit of a widespread panic across the United States, but I thought that this was, this was good because something needs to take place here, is the federal freeze that he put on all federal funding and federal funded activities and grants and stuff like that.
Discretionary spending. That's the key word.
Discretionary spending. Perfect. Well put. And this caused mass panic across the country, which I don't even understand why, because if you actually read it and understood what was going on, it really wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. But let's go to clip 12.
We'll have Caroline Levitt explain.
Yes, let's go to clip 12.
This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause. And I want to make that very clear to any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that. However, it is the responsibility of this president and this administration to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. That is something that President Trump campaigned on. That's why he has launched DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, who is working.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and that's 100% right. And I said it to you as soon as we were talking about this, because we were talking about it in the show group chat a little bit. And I said it immediately. I said, you know what I think this is? This is his way of saying, where is this money going? Right? You need to understand why we are spending so much money the way we are, and where is it going, and what our return on our investment is for that money.
Well, honestly, Carlos, Joe Biden tried to burn down the country on his way out. He was just handing money out to everybody, and we all know that a lot of that money is being money laundered.
Right.
Plus, I mean, these people were so greedy. There's no way that this guy gave out 8,000 pardons because he knew 8,000 people.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, allegedly, in my head, when I think about it, I said, these people are so greedy, they were selling those pardons. Like, they're looking to be so corrupt where they can get money anyway. So millions of dollars going for condoms in Gaza?
Yeah,
Give me
I
a
know.
break.
Oh my God, that was an unbelievable story. I couldn't even believe that when I read that.
So whoever really needs the money
Yes.
is going to say, hey, we really need the money. And they're going to have to come, explain the situation, and they'll figure out on the discretionary spending whether or not it's justified. But Trump can't just cut Medicaid. Like, that would have to go through Congress.
Yes.
There's certain programs he would have to go to Congress. But the fear-mongering from the mainstream media immediately sent off a tailspin into everybody. And then even on social media, they're like, I can't get a student loan. I can't get anything. And I was like, hold on. Let's just see what is going on. So what happens? A judge came, intervened.
Yep.
So now they had to, what is it called again?
They rescinded or put the freeze on it?
It's the Office of, I want to get it
here.
right. The Office of Monetary, what is it?
The White House Office
Yes,
of Monetary Budgeting?
Yes.
Yes.
The Office of Monetary Budgeting had to rescind it. The executive order wasn't rescinded, but they had to rescind it while this judge figures out. And you know what? Trump has to learn, I do have to say, he has to learn how to do things the right way.
Yeah.
So that way they can't stop it. Like with ICE, he's following every rule because why? He has Tom Homan in there making sure that everything's going perfect.
Right.
But he has Elon doing the Doge.
Yep.
So I'm sure Elon's thinking more private sector thinking, oh, we're just going to do this. And he doesn't have all his ducks in a row. So
well, I think Trump's getting a little spread thin too. I mean, he's worried about the
He's throwing
immigration.
everything, yeah.
He's like, all right, now I got to focus on the spending. Where's this money going? Right? Doge is very active, figuring out where that money is going. So he's worried about that. And then meanwhile, he still doesn't even have all of his team in.
Yes.
Because RFK is fighting for his life on Capitol Hill today.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's adding a bunch of
RFK
stress.
Jr., he was put through the ringer today.
He was.
He really
complete.
was.
He was put through the ringer yesterday with
my gosh,
Caroline
his cousin,
Kennedy.
What? I'm
Oh,
sorry
my
to
goodness.
say, but she's not a good person.
Yeah.
There's no way that I would go and drag my cousin publicly like that.
That was
Oh my gosh,
disgusting.
my grandparents would kick my ass if I
Yeah.
got to heaven after doing something so terrible.
100%.
Like, you can't do that. You can't go against
Dragged
the family.
through the mud. But they all went against him because they're all probably, it's all about the moolah.
But she said that he had birds of prey and that
Oh,
he
my God.
he crumbled the
I know.
mice and the what was it? The mice and little chicks. He would
Yeah.
crush in the blender to feed to his birds of prey. And I think like this is like when
Yeah.
he's 20 years old. He's 70 now. So this is like over 50 years ago. I mean,
we don't even know how much is
I
true.
had cousins who had snakes and
Yeah.
they give him a mouse. So I was like, you know what? This is a little bit crazy,
Yeah,
this lady.
it was disgusting, to be
She
honest
is the
with you.
definition of liberalism as a mental disorder.
Well,
A, to go
all
away
liberals,
against
yeah.
the family, but B, to be defending Big Pharma. You need to have your head examined. I'm sorry.
100%. 100%.
You know, one thing about RFK
Yeah.
is, let's go to video 13, because he swears he's going to be like, the most transparent person, and that's what scares him
Yeah.
too.
All right, let's go 13.
My approach to administration, HHS, will be radical transparency.
Yeah.
If members of this committee or other members of Congress want information, the doors are open. I've spent many years litigating against NIH and its sub-agencies. It's HHS and its sub-agencies, NIH, CDC, FDA, on FOIA issues, trying to get information that we, the taxpayers, paid for, and oftentimes getting back redacted copies after a year or 2 years of litigation. That should not be the case. And if Congress asks me for information, you will get it immediately.
That's perfect.
I mean, that's the
That's
way
what
it's
we
supposed
need.
to be.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the government likes to operate in the shadows.
Yeah.
They don't want to be
They do.
truthful.
They-
Everything is done
100%.
in the shadows.
100%.
And then that wackadoo Pocahontas was there yelling at him,
Yeah.
saying like, "Oh, are you gonna sue? Are you gonna make any money off of sues?" And I was like, Pocahontas, just go riding into the sunset.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie was there too.
Bernie was there too, but Bernie, I have to admit, even Rand Paul said,
Yeah.
Bernie honestly is aligned with RFK Jr.
I agree. I agree. And he even said,
He
I think
is.
one of the first things he said was like, listen, I love your slogan, make
Yes.
America healthy again. I agree. I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
Because, listen, guys, this guy, I mean, they called him a conspiracy theorist. We're going to show that clip too. They constantly call him a conspiracy theorist, but in all reality, I mean, he's been right about a lot of the things that he's been saying. It's been fact. And I mean, dude, the guy is 70. He's completely shredded, in perfect health.
His voice is a little weird.
His voice is a little weird. Like he used to rip darts back in the day. But I mean, come on, he probably did. But I mean,
he's been through
listen, he is in great shape, and I think he'll do a good job. He's not going to force people to get vaccines that they don't want, which is huge. You shouldn't have to get a vaccine that you don't want. This is the United States of America. He's not going to force that on you. And he's going to he's going to make sure that he puts the American people in positions to be healthy. That's what he wants to do.
He has what's called spasmodic dysphonia.
Oh, okay.
Spasmodic dysphonia. So he does have a legitimate disease with his voice and why he talks like that.
That's it. Now he's out.
But I got to say, man, that guy is in his 70s and he is in fantastic shape. Let me tell you, my mother, she hasn't shown up to a childhood event for any of my kids like the last 20 years.
That's true.
Honestly. And they're the same age. And RFK can go and get his ass reamed right in front of the senators, the confirmation hearings.
Yep.
So I gotta say that guy's pretty put together for such a wackadoo.
100%.
But let's hear about his conspiracy theories.
Yes, let's go. Clip 14. This was a good clip.
For you, are you a conspiracy theorist?
That is a pejorative, Senator, that's applied to me, mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions of powerful interests. I was told that I was a conspiracy theorist. That label was applied to me because I said that the COVID vaccine, didn't prevent transmission and it wouldn't prevent infection. When the government was telling people, Americans, that it would. I was saying that because I was looking at the monkey studies in May of 2020. I was called a conspiracy. Now everybody admits it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said red dye caused cancer. And now FDA has acknowledged that and banned it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said fluoride lowered IQ. Last week, JAMA published a meta-review of 87 studies saying that there's a direct inverse correlation between IQ.
And fluoride.
And
Scott Villas said that he should have done the confirmation hearing with no shirt on.
He should have walked in fully ripped, totally what's up? Like, I'm here to be your health secretary. And you would have seen just the intimidation. I think Elizabeth Warren would have been a little more quiet. She
I
would
don't
have
think his girlfriend, Cheryl Hines, would have liked that in the background.
No, she would not have liked that. She would not have liked that. But, I mean, listen, I think RFK is going to do a great job.
He's the real deal, that guy.
I think he should get in. And if they don't, it's clearly a vendetta. But
one of the things that he said is that these people are my friends. Like, these have been my friends for decades, right?
Yep.
So we have to show video 15.
Clip 15, yeah. We're getting there.
He really has been put through the ringer.
Yeah, he has
and
been.
it had to. I mean, by his own cousin. That was really.
That was just disgusting, though. The cousin thing, that was just gross. That was not right.
I don't care. I'm not here because I want a position or a job. I have a very good life and a happy family.
Yeah.
This is something I don't need. I want to do this because we're going to fix it. And the other thing is, we are attracting now a caliber of people to HHS like never before in history. And they're entrepreneurs, they're disruptors, they're innovators of immense talent that are walking away, many of them from growing concerns. They're not coming there for position. They're coming there because they want to save our country. And they're from across the political spectrum. And all these Democrats are opposed to me for partisan issues. They used to be my friends. Agreed with me on all the environmental issues that I've been working on for my whole career. Now they're against me because anything that President Trump does, any decision he makes, has to be lampooned, derided, discredited, marginalized, vilified.
We need to move on.
That's the truth.
We need to move on.
Anything that Trump says, they lampoon, they vilify,
100%.
they lie.
Yeah.
And this is RFK Jr., a hero in the liberal community.
Yeah.
And it's really disgusting.
No, I mean but we knew like that. That's what we've been talking about. Is everything that Trump does and Trump says, the media and the Democrats, they try to vilify it. They're like, how can we make this look bad? How can we make him look like a fascist, a dictator? Like they just do their best to warp.
And that's why we need you guys to wake up. That's why you need to pay
100%.
attention to alternative media.
Yeah,
but you know
that's
what? They
the
want
key.
to do the Tulsi Gabbard vote in secrecy. I hear.
Oh my gosh. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, they're trying to get these people, these confirmations in, and where is Tulsi Gabbard?
They hate her.
Where is she?
They
dude?
hate her.
I haven't seen Tulsi Gabbard since
Listen, Carlos,
the campaign.
You think Big Pharma's big? What's bigger than Big Pharma in this country? The military industrial complex.
Oh
and
my
they
gosh.
do not want. And this woman already has security clearance.
They're like, we need
She's
to
a
keep her
lieutenant
the
colonel,
farthest away.
And they're acting like she can't know the country's secrets.
I know.
Give me a break.
I know. It's really
Give
just
me a
unbelievable. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, she has completely fell off the map.
Yeah.
Like they have completely buried her, and they're like, we are not going to this hearing. If they ever get it to a public hearing, that'll be the very last hearing, I think, is Tulsi Gabbard. They are like
She's
trying their
supposed to go
best.
tomorrow, but they want to do the vote in secrecy. And I think it's because a lot of Republicans are in with the military-industrial complex, and they're
100%,
afraid
100%.
of going on record, going against Trump, going against the American people, and voting for the military-industrial complex.
And listen, let us be clear here. We are against the entire, I guess, swamp. Right?
Yes, we're against whether you're Republican or Democrat.
It's not just, we're against all Democrats. If you're a part of this big machine, the bureaucracy and the BS that has been running this country, we're against you. And that's who Trump's against. And that's why you have a bunch of Republicans who say, oh, we don't like Trump, and Trump is this, Trump is that. That's why, because they're all part of the machine. There's a lot of Republicans that are just as bad as the Democrats in Congress and in the Senate.
Some of them are worse. Look at Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell.
Some of them are
I don't even know
worse.
how that guy is even alive.
But listen,
and still kicking.
Let's say a prayer for Tulsi Gabbard because we really want her.
Oh my gosh, we need her.
To get confirmed because she is going to clean up the lies because they want the endless wars. And I don't want young people going and dying, fighting in these endless wars so that these people can get rich. And that's what terrifies them because she's a warrior. She's been there. And she's not going to put our sons in a situation where we're fighting wars for money. Because that's what it's about with all the money laundering and the Ukraine and everything else.
About.
And she's not going to let that happen. And that's why they need to do everything they can to stop her.
Yeah.
She is going to be harder, I think, than RFK Jr., to be honest with you.
One of the executive orders says that the head of intelligence must find all the snakes and get rid of them. The swamp is taking out their knives for her. Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right.
Are.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're afraid.
They totally are afraid.
That's what they are. They're afraid.
Well, there's one last thing. The show's almost over, but I wanted to bring this up. A food shortage is coming to the United States.
Yeah,
I don't know if you watched the interview with J.D. Vance, but he actually got reamed by, Biden forever by that reporter
CBS.
because she said, you've been in office a week. How come the prices haven't come down yet?
Yeah.
5 days.
5 days.
You've been in office 5 days. How come the prices didn't come down yet? And he's like, well, it's going to take a little more than 5 days.
Right.
But let's go to
that was
video
a great line.
17.
All right, let's go to
because
17.
this, I had no idea this happened.
But the
The 100 million chickens killed?
This was interesting. It's a no. That's the fire. That's the press
yeah.
briefing.
Well, that actually, we could show that if you,
You
want
want
to
to show? You want to talk about the lithium battery?
Or the other video.
No, let's go to the other video. We got the other video.
Just real quick.
Yep.
Thanks, Caroline. Just real quick. You mentioned the inflation executive order the president signed, but egg prices have skyrocketed since Trump took office. So what specifically is he doing to lower those costs for Americans?
Really glad you brought this up because there is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration.
I mean, it is. He killed over 100 million chickens because of the bird flu.
Yes,
right?
that was the bird flu.
Him,
Yep. No,
right?
I remember that
So they
last
killed
year.
100 million chickens. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Of course, egg prices are going to go up.
Well, yeah, and just, I mean, come on, guys. We're talking about inflation. We've been talking about inflation over the last 2.5 years, really. Like, that's been the center focus. It doesn't just happen overnight.
Right. Give them at least more than a week.
I don't understand how people don't understand that things just like this don't happen just overnight, that it's just a quick switch and all of a sudden everything is back to the way it was back in 2019, 2020. Like, come on, guys.
Well, for the Tres de Aragua.
Yeah, well, they're right back. Yeah, they're right back. The illegals are right back. But thank God. I mean, that's what we need. But let's talk about this lithium battery fire, because we just had the wildfires not too long ago in California.
The lithium batteries and storage are a serious danger to the environment and our health. And the Australian media are the one that's going to report it, because the American media, they don't want to report what the politicians in California have done with storing all those batteries. So just today, Yabui, that's the video that we said. That was today. Not like this was from a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Right after the wildfires. Yeah.
A lithium battery fire. That's what's going on.
And that's in somebody's storage facility, right? That's what you were saying? That's
because
in the
they're storing
facility?
a bunch of lithium batteries.
Yeah.
And you know what's going to happen? People in the area have becoming extremely sick. The surrounding farms, which produce 70% of American greens, are potentially poisoned.
Yeah.
And the air quality is very concerning given the hydrogen fluoride, a toxic compound that's in the smoke plumes. It was a fourth blaze at these kinds of facilities since 2019.
Yeah.
How is this technology green or renewable or good for the environment? That you need to store all these lithium batteries and then they go on fire and it's poisoning all the food.
Right.
Imagine 70% of the lettuce from California,
Gone, yeah.
50% of the celery from California, 48% of the broccoli from California, 38% of the spinach from California, 28% of the strawberries, including Driscoll, from California.
Wow.
And all that food is being poisoned or burnt up. Think about it.
Well, I'm sure that's why, they don't want RFK. Because that would be in RFK's group where he'd be like, we're not doing that anymore. You can't run that. You can't run that type of show here
Well,
anymore.
and you know what it is? They're going to lie. And they're going to say the food is fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
100%.
it. Because that's what they did in 9/11 to all the New Yorkers. They lied. They said the air is fine. You can go downtown. The air is fine. And then everybody started dying of that cancer. So how much you want to bet that the people are being poisoned right now in California, and they're going to lie to them and say that everything is okay? RFK, I don't think he would do that. I think he would be honest and
He
be
would
like,
be
we need
100%.
to fix this and we need to get a solution.
Transparency. He would be transparent. And he would be like, hey, listen, this is the problem. This is what's going on. This is the food is getting poisoned. Let's come up with a solution on how we can do this without causing this problem. And that's what he would do. And he would be honest with everybody and just say, listen, I'm more afraid of him being honest than anybody, because I know he's going to be like, hey, listen, this is what's in the McDonald's. This is what's in the Burger King. And then everybody's going to be like, oh, shit, like we really shouldn't be eating that. And then it's going to go, and then I'm going to be upset. But listen, guys, like we need to know what is out there. We need to know what is being put in our bodies. It needs to happen. And now with RFK being the head secretary of health, we will be able to see that. And that's where we need to go. That is the direction we need to go. We need to just get on board with the program, guys. Get on board. This is a new era. This is a new program that's going to bring this country together. It's going to make the country healthy. It's going to make the country moral. It's going to bring us out of debt. We're going to start paying back some of the trillions in debt we have. We're going to start making money again. Like this, we got to get on board, guys. Let's go. Get on board.
Trump is a builder. He's not a
He's
destroyer.
a builder, exactly.
Okay? He knows how to create wealth. He doesn't have to destroy things in order to pay off his friends.
100%.
Well, I thought that was a great show. Honestly, I thought that was a good show too. And exciting, right?
Yes, and I do apologize for getting angry at Mom. I'm sorry for yelling at you. I'm sorry, viewers, that I got very fired up there at the beginning of the show. And I hope you enjoyed it for your own personal pleasure. And listen, I'm looking forward to keep going. Hopefully, we can get a White House press pass at some point in the next 4 years, and we could start doing some in-person stuff. Maybe we'll get so big Trump can come on the show and answer some of these questions himself. Who knows?
I'll tell you, I want to learn more about this AI. I'm fascinated.
We didn't even get to talk about DeepSeek. From the Chinese startup company that tanked the stock market the last 2 days.
Listen, they're full of crap with a lot of it. Trust me.
No, I think you're right.
They're doing the Star Wars. They're full of crap. They're doing what Reagan did with Star Wars. They're trying to throw us off balance a little bit.
You
Don't
think
believe them. Yeah.
So you think DeepSeek is just crap?
I think that it's not as advanced as they saying they are. When they said they did it for $6 million, I said you couldn't pay for the electricity for AI with $6 million.
Yeah, with the
So I was
facility
like-
that you need to
and-
run
and
it.
then
I mean,
it started
alone.
to come out that they needed to build all these nuclear facilities in
Yeah.
order to power the AI. And I mean, so they were lying a little bit, but I think it's like Star Wars, you know? You got to like psych your opponent out. You know how like
I mean,
you got to
yeah,
psych
that would
people
be
out a little bit.
that's good. That, I mean, you're 100% right. I just, I think it's going to be interesting to see because I think maybe how we talked about or we didn't talk about, but back in the day we had the arms race, we had the nuclear race. Maybe now it's like, all right,
It's
now
an
we're going to go into the
AI
AI race. We're going to
It
see
is.
who can make the most advancements in artificial intelligence, who can really, So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes.
And we're going to need American exceptionalism if we're going
Yeah,
to win.
and no better leader than Trump to do that. No better leader than Trump. What? Oh, when is Warren going to attend the Senate in her tribal dress? I think that's what she needs. Yeah, Pocahontas needs to show up with her tribal dress. I agree with you, absolutely. But no,
She's
listen,
such a fraud. She
I'm
really
looking
is.
forward. I think American exceptionalism is going to come back, and I
Yeah.
think we're ready to bring it on. I do. I'm happy with this team. I hope everybody gets confirmed. We'll probably be talking about Tulsi's big confirmation next week.
Oh, it's going to be intense.
So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens come next week's show.
Well, please, everybody, follow us on Rumble.
Oh,
Please,
yes,
go
Coach.
on
Give the
follow
speech.
Us,
Break it down for
like
him.
us, subscribe on YouTube. And
We got
then
to point at the
fa-
camera. Hit that like and subscribe button below, right there. There it is. Hit
careful
that
with
button.
hand gestures,
Hit that button.
you know?
Yeah, no. Oh my God, no. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Leave comments down below. Get involved in the chat. Rumble. Hit that follow button. Hit that follow button. Hit that like button. And everybody across the board, hit that share button. Send it to your friends. Send
And
it to
like
your family.
it.
Send it to your coworkers.
Yeah.
Send it out. Be like, oh, look at this funny clip. Follow us, guys. Follow us on X. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us.
Well,
YouTube, yeah,
right?
YouTube, Rumble, yeah. Just follow us, guys.
X,
You'll find
we're on
us.
The X.
We're on the X.
Well, we have
are
an
on the
account
X.
on the X.
Yes, but guys, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. You know where we'll be next week, same time, same place. We'll see
And
you guys
thanks
next
so
week.
much, you buoy, for everything.
Yes, and shout out Yabui. Yabui's back this
And
week.
it's very
So it was big. It was good.
room
Yes,
today.
it was a tense room. It was intense. But that's why we got him. He makes everything work for us, even when it gets a little intense. So we'll see you guys same time, same place next week. Make sure you guys tune in, hit like, subscribe, share, follow, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a great night, everybody. See you next week.